posted for your
Like you
examination
said, by
on the
state
wall
statute, you have to have
inside the door to the city
securities
council
to back
chambers.
that, but and it has to cover 102%.
Before we have roll call,
balance.
I'd like
I
to
don't know if you'd
welcome
be able
all
to
of our guests tonight. We
that.
have a nice
I think that's on page
full
45.
chambers.
Yeah.
Talks about it.
Like
Or
to
40?
have you stick around for the whole meeting if you
40 or
can,
45?
and if not, we appreciate attending whatever part you can.
40.
40.
So
Yep.
could we have a roll call, please?
George Klein,
Here.
Shane Shepherd,
Here.
Mark
Yes, you have the
Graves,
FDIC coverage, and then
Evan
anything
Alexi.
above
Here.
that, above
Clay
the
Anderson.
FDIC coverage by state statute, you're supposed
Could
to
we
have
have a motion for
102%
approval
of
of
cash
the
balance
agenda,
is
please?
covered by
Make a
basically
motion to
pledged
approve the
securities at
agenda.
bank.
I'll second.
I just don't.
Motion by Shane,
see
second
how
by
that's possible
Kevin.
if you-
That'd
if you're
be
invested
the
in
agenda.
gold.
Could we have a roll call, please?
I don't think that's going to
Alexi?
be
Yes.
an option.
Anderson,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Graves,
Yes.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll
Okay.
make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Anyone,
I'll second.
council members, or
Motion by
anyone in the
Mark,
audience, seconded
any
by
questions?
Clay to approve the consent agenda. It consists of minutes of the city council meeting of May 5th. If not,
We'll
the
move on
minutes
in
from the Business Improvement District
agenda.
that was held
Thank you.
March
Thank you.
24th. of
I'd
this
like to
year.
introduce resolution
Monthly
number
treasurer's report for
2025-41
April this year.
and move for its approval.
Monthly water report
I'll
for
second that.
April. Fire department membership update. Motion by me, seconded by
They're
Mark
at
at their
Resolution
meeting.
2025-41.
45 active members. And I introduced that because the special designated licenses that
Sounds
were
good.
administratively
Not in
approved to the Ridge for wedding
To a
reception at the
fellow
Taos County
accountant,
Fairgrounds on
so.
May 24th.
Could we have a roll call, please?
And the Ridge,
Alexi,
Yes.
the
Anderson,
Favorite Bar,
Yes.
Fridays,
Yes.
120 Bar and
Shepherd.
Grill.
Yes.
Graves,
Wild
Yes.
Bar and Grill and Bean Broker Coffee
Okay.
House and
Someone
Pub,
care to introduce?
and out for outdoor
I'll
live
introduce
music
resolution
during Fair Trade Days on July
2025-42 and move
11th
for
to
its
the 12th,
Approval.
2025.
I'll second.
Motion by Shane, second
Could
by
we have
Kevin.
roll call, please?
Resolution 2025-42,
Anderson,
Yes.
which is to
Klein.
approve
Yes.
Shepherd,
the municipality
Graves.
program
Yes.
agreement with the state of Nebraska Department of Transportation. No one had any comments or
paving
questions
Stockade
about this
Road.
consent agenda. I kinda skipped over that.
Tom, do you
fast.
wanna talk to us a little bit
I was in
about
such a
this?
hurry
Yes, I will, Mayor.
to get to our
we've got,
next
uh,
item, which is
Doug
to
Holbeck
recognize
from the
Cheryl
Department of
Chambers for her
Transportation
years of
with, the
service
states that's working
with
with
the
us,
city of Chadron.
and with Dave Schaff from our engineer and aspect,
We
and
have
basically,
Julie is
this
going to
agreement
make a
is just
presentation,
saying that the state of Nebraska will
and
pay for all the cost
little
of that
introduction.
particular project as per agreement with them. The city is gonna be a pass-through on this, the city will pay for it, and then they'll reimburse the city for it. The only thing that the state would not be able to take care
All
of
right,
is
let's
the
have a
street
little,
lighting.
can I say a little, oh, you want to go
That'll be
first?
something that we will have to do.
Okay, sorry.
But what we've
So,
done with,
good evening,
the
council members and
engineering
mayor.
is ask them to go
Tonight is a
ahead
sad but happy
and
moment for all of us in recognizing
have the
Cheryl's
conduit
retirement
put
of
into
45 years
place
working
so that
for
we're able
Chadron
to
City
do that
Transit, also known
at a
as
later date.
Candy Bus, as she knows it.
Doug was saying
Cheryl
that
is the
they're
icon
hoping
of
to-
transit.
once
She was
this
hired at the age of
process
32 by
if
Chief
we get through
Fastine.
this one tonight,
Back then, there was no application
they'll-
process
they'll go
required,
out
just
for
a
bid
blessing from the
on this,
chief.
and they're the ones that
Chief
are doing a
Fastine
lot
is here
of the
tonight
legwork
to
for
fire
us on
Cheryl,
this.
which is only appropriate to bring
Adam
closure
did
to her
review
tenure
this. He
with the
did
city
not
of
see any
Chadron.
other issues.
When I started in
as far as
22,
that.
my first day, I rode with Cheryl to see what I was
Now,
getting
one thing
into.
is
I
this is
witnessed
only
Cheryl pick
to
up
the
and
end
deliver
of the
riders like it was
state
nothing.
property.
At that time, the
There
PD
is
dispatched
some
the calls
private
via police
individuals
radio.
that have some property
Cheryl would
to
write down the
south of
names,
it.
address, and
They would be
destination, which
allowed
was
to
nothing for
tag
Cheryl,
along
as she
if
knew
they
everyone in the
so
routine.
desire to do so.
I told Cheryl we're going to computerize dispatch, so no more writing
Stockade
down.
Road.
Cheryl was
on the
not
west
happy,
side
and
of
after
where
a
the
few
state
choice
yard is
words,
right now.
Cheryl said she was going to quit.
The new
As you can
facilities.
witness here, Cheryl didn't
And-
quit, and she
and-
mastered the computer in
It's
2
not all
hours.
paved, it's.
Throughout her
what are
years,
they?
Cheryl
Yeah,
trained
it's
numerous
only
drivers
like
as they
a
came
little
and
bit.
left.
And
Driving
so
is
they
not
have to
what
still
one
finish it
thinks.
off the rest
Today,
of
the
way.
transit team is here to say thank you, and we wish Cheryl good
no,
luck.
it has
We'll
not
truly
been
miss you,
completed.
and we love you.
But further south, they can add that. So, utilities are
That's from each one of the drivers.
Yep.
Thank you. To you. So I'm gonna get out
Well,
of your spotlight.
after I gave the okay for Adam not to come, I took an hour of my 2 hours preparation last night and went over a lot of this, and they're not troubling items, I just think they're interesting, like page 4, item, state will rely on the professional performance and ability of the municipality or its design or construction engineering professional. So we put a lot of stock in our professional, and then the next is plan specification estimates. If the plan specification estimates are found to be in error, or there are omissions therein revealed during the construction of the project, and revision or reworking of plans is necessary, the municipality or its design or construction engineering professional shall make such revisions without expense to the state. So we have to make sure that and we do, our engineers takes care of those things. The other thing I wonder about is one of the things that we had to do was to manage the detours for construction of stockade road through traffic control with this
I too would like to
municipality street
thank you,
network.
Cheryl, for your service. 45 years is
Been
a
out
long
there,
time.
I don't know where the detour is going to go, but maybe somebody will figure it out.
Okay,
Unless they put
Back
some
to
dirt in the ditch and then
more
dig it out
mundane
later.
things. Our business, Deb Cottier from NNDC.
It's not passable, but I think that's part of the things that they're looking at doing.
Good
And they've
evening,
been in
Council. Deb
communications
Cottier,
with the
428
state
North
and the
Chadron Avenue.
owners.
You received a report from me, it should have been in your packet with some information.
Any of the other council members
Just a
have
couple
any
things I guess
questions
maybe
about
I
the
would highlight.
agreement?
The Panhandle Area Development District is
Nothing
kind
stood
of
out.
doing double
If not,
duty
could we
here.
have roll call,
They work
please?
for each of
Alexi,
the members
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
that belong to the
Yes.
Development District
Shepherd?
on a
Yes.
variety of
Graves.
municipal projects and a lot of infrastructure things.
I'd like to make a motion
they've been
to
involved
approve
in
the
some
claims
housing-
as listed,
housing
included
projects in
our
the past.
packet.
But they've been asked
second
by
that.
the 6 Regions, 1
Motion by me,
Nebraska
seconded
effort,
by
which
Shane.
is a statewide governor
If you looked it over,
directed initiative to try to
at the water
assist
department,
with whatever the
we had
priorities
some
are that,
overhead door
that
repair.
task
Was
force
that
put
just
together.
old age, or
And
was
the
there
two
a
things that our task
windstorm,
force in
or
western Nebraska determined are
back
the
into
priorities
it,
was
or-
housing.
We had an
and
accident
workforce.
up there.
And
in
so,
which we had
PAD was
employee had a medical
the
issue
recipient of a
which caused the
$200,000
vehicle to go
grant
into the door itself.
to try to create a panhandle-wide
We had some damage done to
assessment
the 3 of the
and
panels
inventory
that needed to be
of
replaced.
housing.
And then
And
while
this
they
is
were up
strictly
there, they also
residential
found a
housing.
broken
It
spring,
really,
too, at the same time on a different
it
door.
may include a few apartments that are above commercial buildings, but for the most part,
And then
it's
I
either
did notice,
multi
which I
apartment buildings
thought was
or
really
single-family
unusual,
dwellings.
I'm sure
So
there's a
they are going to
reason for it, but
contract
on
with
the
JEO Engineering out of
purchase
Scotts Bluff
2025 GMC 2500
to try to create
pickup,
what they referred to or described
since
to
it's
us
used
anyway as
for
an
the water
interactive
department,
map.
it's not
You ought to be able to
tax
click on
exempt.
it and see if a particular piece of ground in the
When
city
we
of
buy a new
Chadron is
vehicle
available to
in
build a house on.
Nebraska, all the
It's
pay our
a
sales tax
huge
at the courthouse.
ask. And this would be for all of the incorporated
GMC
municipalities
included
in the
that.
it's in the Western Nebraska's
you
Community
know
College
why
region, which I think is the 11
municipality
panhandles and maybe 1 or 2 other counties.
the
And
county
they're
would
looking to
not
have
want to
something
collect sales
done
tax
pretty
from a
quickly.
municipality on a
They will have this
vehicle, or-
That I
map
can't answer,
available,
George,
and it'll come
but I
on
know
board
in the
online,
past,
I suppose,
anytime
in
that we
stages, which
purchased
communities
anything
can
for the
help them
water
get the
department,
information uploaded
that has
first.
been taxed
But at the end of the day,
vehicles
we should have a
for
better
vehicles itself.
opportunity,
I don't
the
know
hope
why
anyway is,
they collect
that we
it
could
and
market that to a housing developer who would be willing to build houses 20 miles apart
And if
and be
anyone
able
had
to
any
gather enough
questions, 'cause,
economy of scale, enough houses for it
Tripmaster-
to make sense for them to come out and do.
maintenance, it
projects in
says
western
maintenance
Nebraska.
monthly charges,
So that was, I thought, was an
were
interesting
12 months.
direction for PAD to go, which I hope is, will yield a good usable product for us. It continues to be an
couple
issue
other
every time I talk to folks about business retention, business expansion,
Tripmaster is
business
required by the state of
recruitment.
Nebraska.
a lot of it hinges on whether or not there are places for
computer
people
programming
to live when they
take
get
care
here.
of that stuff so that
Which
they
was really
can
highlighted with
follow through with it.
the conversation I had with the new hospital administrator.
So
They are
that's the
still in a
monthly charges
situation where
paid for annual
housing
rooms.
makes it difficult for them to recruit some of the
I
specialties that
didn't want
they need.
anybody's looking at it.
So,
saying, oh, we're gonna have that every month?
That was an interesting conversation in Scotts Bluff, as well as followed up with
it's
the guy from the
Actually,
hospital.
an
Then the other thing I
almost
just
an
wanted to
annual
mention
charge.
is, I put in my report,
monthly charge.
the Heartland Expressway Association
Any other
has submitted
questions?
an application to Congressman Smith's office
could
for
we have roll
what they
call,
refer
please?
to as
Alexi?
community project
Yes.
funding.
Anderson,
You and I know it
Yes.
as earmark
Klein?
funding.
Yes.
Shepherd,
Yes.
Graves.
His office was
we do
encouraging
not
to
need a
us when we were out
resolution
there
to
in
excuse
March, the end of March,
Any of the council members, since they're all
to
here,
maybe take a look at
now is our public comment
an
period.
application to them
If anyone
for,
wishes to address the council on a matter
projects
not
along
on
the
this
Heartland
agenda,
Expressway.
they may now do
And
so.
since we had already
and they're
directed
allowed
some
a
money
total of
requests through
3
Senator
minutes to
Fisher's
speak.
office for the Chadron North piece of it, we put together an application to maybe study what might be needed on the
Any takers?
71
Do
south
we
of
have,
Kimball
city
piece
manager
of the
report,
highway.
please?
Thank you,
Partly
Mayor.
because it's a
I have only
two-lane,
two
narrow,
things on my list.
difficult road to
One
drive,
is just to
but
remind
mostly
our
because
citizens
of
the
the
grass and
doubling the
tree
capacity and the
responsibilities on their
expansion
personal
at
properties.
Clean Harbors, which is
Please make
just
sure
south
that
of
they're
Kimball.
taking,
Been trying to
taking
convince
care of
DOT
those
that they
things,
need
be
to fix the
courteous to your
turnoff
neighbors
to
on
the
those
Clean
things, and
Harbors
remember, if you have a large
facility.
amount of anything
But
that
their
needs to be
traffic
taken
studies
care of,
did not
we do have the
reveal
ballot truck at
enough additional
432-0528,
traffic to warrant
or
what their
you can
numbers need to
now
be
go
to.
onto the website
put in
and do
a
it
turn lane.
electronically as well.
So we wanted them to,
So
to
that is
submit
something,
an
too, that
application for
we
us.
are offering as
study
well
that.
at this time.
So we prepared
We
all that,
have
had it ready to
gotten
go,
the website
and then we got a
updated,
call from DOT
and it
that
has
said,
been,
you know,
we're still
we
doing
don't
some
want to
tweaks on it,
be
but there's
accused
a
or,
lot of
or
different
to be
things on
pointed
it. If you
out,
have
that
time,
accused
please
is the
take,
wrong word. We don't want
a
to
little
be
bit of your guys' busy days
have people
to
think that we're,
investigate it and take a look at what has
spending
happened.
tax dollars to
And
help a private
last
industry.
bit
They are not
is,
allowed to do that. The
the
numbers would
timeline
have to
for the
show
budget.
from
I
a,
believe
from
we
a
sent it
safety
out to all
perspective
the
or some
council
other
members.
reason why that,
Please
that
make,
turnoff
or
needed to
take a
be
look at your
improved.
guys' calendars
And
to
so the
see
study numbers that
if
they've
the
already
timeframe
completed,
as far as
we're not
budget
gonna get to that point. And so
I'm
what they
estimating that
recommended
to
we
be
do
done
is
June
ask Kimball
23rd through
County
the 27th.
to ask for the funds.
I know it seems like it's
to
a long
fix
ways out,
the highway.
but I've already got one of my days have been taken
And
up,
then
which is the
contract back
24th.
with the Department of Transportation to actually do the work.
It doesn't have to necessarily be that.
So that's
that
what we're
days.
attempting to do at this
We
point.
can fudge a little
So
bit.
within
Michelle and I, we kinda
about
spaced
24
them
hours
out enough
notice,
so
it
that
went
would
from a
give us some
planning
time
document to
get
a
the proper
construction project.
information and go through the whole process for it.
And so
So if you do
letters
look
of
at
support
your-
had to be
your
rewritten
time
and
schedule, please
wording
let
had to
us
be
know if there's
changed and
anything else, for it.
approvals
And
through Kimball
likewise, if
County
there's
and
any
DOT.
concerns or
And
anything that you guys would
I
like
think
us
we
to
have all of the
concentrate on
pieces
for
in
the budget,
place.
please let us know.
The final piece will be tomorrow morning. The Kimball County
try to get things
Commissioners meet,
incorporated.
and they have to officially vote to say, yes, we would accept the money if it's awarded, with the
Okay,
intention of
council closing
contracting.
comments. We'll
Yes,
start
they're
with Kevin.
essentially a pass-through.
I
have
I
DOT
just wanted
do the
to
work.
recognize and thank
Because,
Michelle and
as it turns
city
out,
staff
DOT
for
already has
a
plans,
solid audit.
published
I think,
plans to resurface
auditors come
71
in and say
from Kimball to the
some scary
Colorado
things from time to time,
border.
but that was not really the
so we
case
can
here. I think
add
we
this
got
to
a,
that scope, It's already
vote
been
of approval
published.
and
and it
everything looked
would
good
just
to me,
become
so,
part of an
you.
existing project, which is in transportation lingo, what you have to have to get the federal funding.
Add on. Just
So
thanks
we're
again to
hopeful
Michelle
that
and
that will
staff for
meet with
all the work they did
the
and helping with the
congressman's
auditors.
favor.
And then
This is by no
one
means a
thing I've
promise
got
that A,
is
he will select
has
it as one
been
of the projects that he
Mental
gets
Health
to
Month,
put
Awareness Month,
forward, or B, there will be any money
and
available
quote
from Congress
I
by the time this is all
have
said and
used to
done.
help me out
Because it also
when
has
I've
to
had a
then
hard
go
time
through
is
the
from
appropriations
Brandon
process
Sanderson.
and be part of a budget bill
And
for 2026.
It goes to love
So,
the journey is to accept no such
It's just
end.
one of those
I've
things that
found through
you just
painful experience that
literally
the most
have
important
to
step
kind
a
of drop
person
what you're
can
doing
take
and
is always the
see if you
next one.
can take advantage of
you
a very
happen
short
to be
time window to
struggling at
make
all,
this.
There's
make
the
this work.
998 number.
All said and
You
done,
don't have to go through it
everyone
alone.
agrees, DOT included, this would be one of the best things we could
And
possibly do for traffic
Sometimes
congestion
you
south
can
of
just get a
Kimball.
hold of a friend.
And for safety of the people who
Takes
work there, safety of the
6
truck drivers,
minutes,
safety of the people coming from the other
just a vent.
direction. The other
Something
thing
that-
is
that's all you need.
they not only take things to that
that's all I got.
plant, but the items in that plant that are
Well, my
not
comments are kind
able
of
to be burned, that they can't completely
expansion.
eviscerate when they put it in their
city
burner,
managers,
gets hauled to
It is
Colorado
that time of the year
and buried
when
in a
visitors
landfill.
and tourists
So there's
come
additional truck traffic,
to and
more
through our
truck traffic
community.
heading south to
Please
into
take a
Colorado.
look at
So,
our alleys
and the
and
final thing I'll
bars.
mention is there are
Walk around our
efforts on the
homes and
Colorado
business
side as well,
property and
which
clean
is
up
also
the
very
weeds and
encouraging to
trash.
us. First time since I've been involved
And
with
get
this,
rid
that
of this
Colorado's willing
weeds
to
in the
go to the
sidewalks,
feds for
especially
money
up
to
and down
improve the route to
3rd
connect to
Street.
Nebraska.
You
So
know,
that's,
I make a
that's in the
joke
works as
when
well.
I swear when
Congresswoman
they
Boebert
poured
now
that
represents
concrete,
that district on
it
the
had weed
very
seed in it.
eastern edge of Colorado. And we hope
I
that
don't know how
there
that
may be
works,
some
but,
improvements
those weeds
on
keep coming
71
up
north
and,
of Brush, Colorado,
you know,
up to
I think we ought to
and,
start a
to the
program
border
of
Nebraska.
maybe some people, and
71.
I would
It's
be the
interesting because
first
it's Nebraska
just
71,
put in some
but it's
money
also
to
Colorado
have
71. It's the
private
same numbered
contractor,
highway
'cause the city
on either
staff
side of
did
the
not
state
have
line.
time
So that's
to
what we've
maybe
been
spray
busy with
if
the
you
last
spray
week or
'em
so.
about twice, about right now and
And I will hopefully be
Memorial
able to
Day
provide any information the
soon
Kimball County
thereafter.
Commissioners need tomorrow morning. I'll be
and
just via phone
once
at their
maybe
meeting.
again in August, we
and
could really
that's the last
control
piece
them.
of the
And it would
puzzle, and it's off Congressman's office.
last for a number, if we
I'd
do
be
that
happy to answer any other questions
couple
or
of years, I think
or
we'd get
anything
those
you might
things
have
under control.
from
We
the
wouldn't have to be
report
up
that you
there
need.
talking
You,
about
you
it
mentioned this
again.
NPPD
Just
webinar
an
about
idea, if anybody
keeping up with,
out there in the public
demand-
wants
power
to
demand.
jump
Yeah.
on my
Is that-
Yes.
bandwagon.
are they
And
about
if
that,
there's
or do they feel like they are keeping
some
up?
contractor who
Concerned.
does spraying and it would be worth
because what used to
willing
be
do it,
a huge
at
project
kind
was
of
a 1
discount or
megawatt
something, please
project.
come
Now they're
by
coming
me.
in asking for 20 megawatts.
Come see me and we'll
And
figure
almost
out a
exclusively
payment
it's
plan.
Crypto mining,
I'm gonna
data
reemphasize
centers,
what
those
Clay said.
racks and
I
racks and
forgot.
racks of
Have a
computers.
safe Memorial Day weekend.
It's so
Shane. No, you're
important
good.
to the extent
I
that
want to
if someone comes to a
reemphasize what Clay
developer,
said.
an economic
Recognize
developer like
Mental
me or
Health
anywhere else
Awareness
in the
Month.
state, and says
Too
we want to
often we
build
shy away
a
from
plant
talking about
in
it, but
Chadron
mental
that
health
would
conditions
need this much
are
water, this
common
much
and
power, this
deserve
much.
understanding, not
It really
silence.
isn't even so
This month is about raising awareness,
dependent
breaking
on
stigma,
number of
and make it
employees
okay
anymore.
to
It's
seek
do you
help.
have the capacity
Mental health
and
is
all
a
the
journey
other
with ups and
inputs,
downs.
whether it's water
Let's work
or,
together and create a
but power
community
is one of those
where everyone
things that
feels
you
support.
can't just flip a switch and have more
I'd
power.
also like to
We are at a point in
uh,
Nebraska
give a
where they
big
have
thanks
to
to
be looking
Cheryl
at
and her
additional
45
generation.
years of service.
The one thing that
And
that's
then I'd
probably
like to make a comment on the city budget. The city
gonna
budget's
continue
showing
to
about the same
evolve
in assets,
is how much of
decrease in
of the previous
liabilities,
coal-fired
and
plants
a little
will
more
come
in
back
capital
online.
in the
The
previous years.
administration
And
has
it
lessened
creates a
the
strong financial
regulation on
position.
burning coal.
This generally suggests
so
city
some of
is
that might
managing
happen,
its resources
but that
effectively and
Equipment
has
is old enough
flexibility
now
for
that
the future investments.
who knows if that's
or
gonna be the
addressing
answer to the
community
power
needs.
needs or not.
So
Ultimately, they will need
Just a
to
reminder
expand
about
generation.
the Chadron Sidewalk Improvement Plan that
Deb,
expires
in
4
your
PM.
remarks,
Friday
you
the
mentioned the
30th, so if you
problem of
interested
money
in
and
your
what's Congress
sidewalk
gonna do.
help reimburse
I don't know how many,
portion of that,
hopefully it's
apply for that.
accurate. On the
And
April
also
3rd
there's a college move-out sale.
edition of the
So instead of the college,
Chadron Records,
kids just throwing their stuff away,
the title's
they
State
donate it.
lost $100 million
That'll
in
be
federal
held
earmarks.
Saturday, May
under
24th at
stop
Dawson
gap
County
funding bill.
Fairgrounds.
And
the
it
funds for
included
that,
mentioning
will go to
one thing
help
that went
senior
away was
community.
$5 million for Chadron going north to south. Thank you, Mark. State line, then it mentioned a number of, I would like to make a motion
Fire
to departments and things, and it didn't mention Chadron's, but I, seconded by Shane.
That was the
mentioned
previous
every,
year.
we have roll call, please.
That money was secured the
Alexi?
previous calendar, or
Yeah.
fiscal year.
Anderson?
Yes.
What we've been told,
Shepherd?
and that's why I
Yes.
say this
Great.
entire thing is subject to, whatever the administration decides to do tomorrow. But in Senator Fisher's office, the end of March, we were told, everything that kind of fell by the wayside that the Chadron record was pointing to, from her perspective, from her office, would be rolled over and asked for this current year, or this coming year, I should say. Whether or not she would entertain additional requests above and beyond what didn't get funded this year, I don't know. But we were assured that the $5 million request that came directly from DOT to Senator Fisher would be included